Here.
Mr. Hill.
Here.
Mr. Jefferson.
Here.
Chairman Witt.
Here.
Mr. Coberline. Mr. Helpenberger.
Here.
Chief Gilmore.
Okay, first item is, the minutes on April 20th. Is there a motion as to the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda published?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is persons wishing to address council. They have 3 minutes, and I believe I just have one person, Sylvester Warren, signed up.
Mr.
You
Mayor,
come to the podium and give your name as we do.
Mr. Mayor, is it possible that I can go after the presentation of the suggestions for the park?
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience wish to speak, on the CRA?
There's one online.
There is somebody on the line?
Yep.
Okay, if you would recognize.
It's Mr. Bowden. Oops, shoot.
Is there somebody on the line? that
Yeah,
wishes-
it's Mr. Bowden. I'm trying to get him to unmute.
Hear me now?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Good afternoon. I would like, Mr. Warren, I'll wait until after the presentation, and I may or may not have anything to say if that's okay with you.
That'll be fine.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, if nobody else wishes to speak, we will move into new business discussion and possible action improvements to Sally Mae Jewish Park. Mr. Huffenberger, who do you?
Okay. The staff worked with a group of interested residents, and we looked at a design for the park. And we actually had several options, and we're very fortunate to have design done by a DOT member who was very good at doing this sort of thing. If you look at the last page of the handout, it shows the preferred option. And so and basically at this time, we're still in the process of pursuing an acquisition of that lot adjacent to the park, but it would have a circular walkway through it. It looks like you'd have a stage off to the back. You'd have a place for 3 picnic areas, and there'd be some lighting. I would like, if we could, to have Thomas Henry talk a little bit about it, because he's probably got the most invested into it. He's worked out all the arrangements with the various improvements, and he would be able to answer questions in detail.
Okay,
And he trips over because I distracted him.
Good evening, Tom Sarah. On that way. Okay, as you see on the drawings, if you're looking at the last page that Mr. Hippenberger was just talking about, the park, we gotta remember, the park is a very small area. It's only 108 feet wide by 120 feet deep. So we've got to be able to use this property to our advantage of trying to get all the spacing. As you see highlighted, I'm a highlight person. The highlighted areas in green will be the picnic tables that we already have, that the CRA already approved last year. So we have that. We have the water fountain already, and we have I can't remember. The picnic tables and water fountain. I'm sorry. was already approved by CRA, and that was a total of, $17,183.30. So now with the drawings from a engineer through DOT came up with a couple options, and this was the option that the citizen advisory asked for. So as you see, where the trees are, there'll be 2 trees left over, the little red X's will be extra power for future, such as, Christmas lights, any kind of activities that will go on through the park, whatever we have there. Where the portable, on my paper says portable, band stage will be, 50 amps, will be able to run any kind of stage that they want to have, any kind of entertainment. And then all the way around the skirting of the property, you see yellow with the black dots. Those are, FPL antique lights, just like the ones we have in Wilson Park. And that is a cost saving. The Florida Power Lights will put that in, all we gotta do is sign a contract with them, but you'll see that very shortly coming to you with the easement. And that will save the city $20,000 just on that. Only thing we do is pay for the, energy on that portion. And then along with that yellow area, there will be a black wrought iron fence that, was asked to be placed in there too, in that whole area. And the property to the west of the park, as you see where it says future restrooms and parking lot areas, I know Mr. Slade has been trying to get, has been talking to the property owners, and they have not responded back within this week to him yet. So, but he has been in communication with them, and they're working on trying to get hold of the whole family and come up with a reasonable offer.
Thomas, the wrought iron fence that you were, made reference to a minute ago,
Yes, sir.
along the yellow line here, that's the fence that separates the park from the parking lot that goes through there.
Yes, sir, it'll do from the parking lot, the future parking lot, and the roads from Long Street and Marion Street. Keep kids and people safe inside the park.
Okay.
And then in the yellow side you see, or not yellow, I'm sorry, orange side you see, that's a privacy fence. That's a composite fencing that we looked at. And you should see in your price sheet, I did a takeout sheet on all the different prices for the concrete, the electrical, the sprinkler system, sod, landscaping, signage of the park, composite fence, black aluminum fencing, and playground equipment. And inside that, the concrete walkway, you see where that's the play area, where we keep the, children all in one area and keep them away from the websites.
Mr. Mayor? Yes. I have a question as well. What happens if, the city is not successful in obtaining the, second piece of property? What's the contingency for that? Because what I'm concerned about is I do not see the restrooms placed on the original property that the city already owns. And so I have concerns.
Can I answer that?
Yes, sir.
My opinion, I've talked to some, like I said, some of the people that's involved in this, in the community. If we're unable to get that property, we can always move that, restrooms onto the property right up front. So it's in our property area, property line.
And where would we also relocate the entrance to the park as well?
Well, the entrance of the parks will come from, Marion Street and Long Street. We'll have, 450, or, no, I'm sorry, 550, at each one, for the ADA requirement. And which that's already in there also, on the black wrought iron fence.
Yes. So I see off of Marion, I see the one gate at 6 feet, and I see a secondary gate that looks like 16 feet, is that correct?
There's a 20, yes, that's gonna be for where we can get in and out, access for ourselves. And if we do a portable stage where we can get our equipment in and out there to the stage.
We have to purchase that portable stage.
I need guidance on that, where I can get a, process to how do we want, what kind of a portable stage we want. If we go that way. And make it 50 times.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
ask a question.
Yes.
With the bathroom, like you were mentioning, the restroom, would it not make sense to have it inside, so it's inside the fence to begin with? Because I would have a concern about the kids running through the parking lot to get to the restroom. So I think that might be something we should look at just in general, for safety purpose. And then also with that stage area, is it much more of a cost differential to just have like a permanent stage, kind of like we have in the Lusky Park? Where we don't have to haul it and set it up and spend man hours on it in the future?
Yeah, we can, yeah, I mean, it's up to y'all. I'll just ask to look at what.
In regard to Mr. Sampson's question, if we left the restroom on the other property and just had the entrance from, that property instead of them going out the gate and around, I don't know if that would be possible or not.
Well, we can, I mean, if we let the bathroom where it's at on the, by the plans, we can always put a gate across there where they have to enter from the park side only to the bathroom.
Right.
Because the door is gonna be facing the park,
Right.
where people can still watch their children go in and out.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
One of the concerns I would have is that if there's a delay in obtaining the second piece of property, then that means that there's gonna be a delay in, building the restrooms. And so if we move the restrooms onto the property that we already have, we can begin that process without delay and get the park probably opened up sooner for the public versus, if we drag on trying to get the secondary piece of property. My understanding is there's a lot of issues still with that secondary piece of property, unless maybe Mr. Split has some information I'm not privy to, concerning ownership.
I actually spoke with Mrs. Livingston, who's on one half of the.
you can do your,
I actually spoke with Mr. Livingston, who is located on the west coast, and he spoke with his brothers 3 weeks ago. They were not willing to donate or sell. As of last Friday, they were willing to sell. He is speaking with them and was supposed to have called me Friday afternoon, did not. Tried calling him today, so I will get in contact with him, but it does look very good being able to purchase the property.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
in reference to the portable stage, I think the ideal, or one of my ideal was, portable. You can move it, and since the park is so small and congested in space with a portable stage, it wouldn't be placed there unless you have a use for it, and it would give kids more room to play and to utilize that space. But if you put a permanent stage there, well, then you're limited in your space. And in addition to the bathroom, if we place the bathroom inside that area, it is going to further limit the space.
So I guess our first thing is find out how quickly we're going to this other piece of property. If you can get a hold of the family, do something pretty quick, I think that would be the best bet, because that would answer a lot of questions.
in my opinion, we can still move forward on, the park.
Right.
We'll always come back and put the bathroom in later.
Right.
I mean, if we don't get that piece of property, we can always come back. At least the park is being done.
Right.
what we're, what our plans are,
Yeah, go ahead and do what you can do.
you know. So that's up to y'all.
Okay. Anybody else have any? All right, thank you. And at this time, I will move to the public comment, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sylvester Warren, 832 Northeast Richardson Terrace. I have the original plan in my phone. One of the things that we talked about was selling the Jerry Park, just to take us back in time for a moment. That park has been there for 20 plus years, and I think Mr. Thomas will attest to this and have tested this. Said that for 21 years, no improvement never happened to us. It wasn't until Vanessa, Mr. Bowden, and I, once CRA decided to put $2 million into Wilson Park, we said, hey, y'all got another park down here in the CRA, which is in a undesirable side of town that most people feel, we should improve it as well, right? And we protested. And one of the supervisors threatened to water us down with water hoses, right? And we were gonna press charges against him. And Mr. Heffenberger called me over some weeks later and asked me what would it take for me to drop charges and for those, myself and my brother and some others included, not to pursue that avenue of charges. He wanted to know what it take, $50,000, $100,000. I said, look, there's not enough money to buy me. I said, what we can do is work together to improve the park, which is the right thing to do. And so no one came and complained about how much money has been spent on Wilson Park. It's in the CRA. All we've asked for is quality material that will last. We understand, us in my community, we understand that whatever we get, 9 times out of 10, y'all aren't coming back, right? So we just want quality things to last the next 20 plus years, in case nothing about the council changes in their attitude about that side of town, then we have a decent park and we don't have to worry about less than quality material to hold up, in which then the amount of time that it takes to come back and improve that side of town. In saying that, that stage, that's something that the community came out in the cold and decided to be a part of, and they decided on a permanent stage. The idea to sit and ask the community to come out and participate, then some people who think they got or know what's best for the community in which they don't live in and come back and say, oh, no, y'all don't need a permanent stage. Y'all need a portable. No. The community decided on a permanent stage. It's on my phone. I got the original drawing on my phone. It's the permanent stage. Me, Shalil, Vanessa, we all agreed on a permanent stage. I even called Mr. Thomas and he said, hey, we got to make sure that it's a certain size because performers won't perform unless the stage is a certain amount of foot wide and a certain amount of foot long. So the portable stage, at least what the community decided on, is a no-go. We $750,000 water fountain stuff, we ain't said nothing. We ain't said nothing, but a portable stage, y'all want to fight my community on a portable stage and we want a permanent stage? I don't think that that's even worth fighting us over. I think we should get everything that we asked for on this particular project. The bathroom, which makes it a true park, the permanent stage, so when we decide to have something, we don't have to run Mr. Thomas down, we don't have to schedule it. It's just like Old Lustre Park, just like the pavilion over there at Wilson Park. People can just go out there and begin to participate without having to have to trouble and schedule events. We shouldn't have to schedule events. We want to do something for Black History Month. You mean tell me we gotta call the council, call the city, get it scheduled? If we want to do something down there, that shouldn't be the case. It should be a permanent stage so we can just go down there and have our events.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Vanessa George, 930 Northeast Joe County. I agree with everything Vanessa saying. We don't want a portable stage, and to act like restrooms in that portable stage is such a big deal. I mean, all we have to do is move a table. Then you're able, once you move one of these tables, you can move that bathroom in that corner and move the stage down just a little bit. We can get both. We can get a permanent stage and we can get a portable, the restroom. This is not a hard thing to do. And don't lessen our materials. We don't want a wooden fence when we didn't agree on a wooden fence. Like Sylvester mentioned, y'all never coming back over there. It took 20 years for us to even get this addressed. So let's do it right this time. Cause like you said, we ain't gonna see you again until 20 more years.
Okay, I think Mr. Biden wants to speak now.
He's not raising his hand.
Mr. Biden, do you want to speak now? He said he may not at the end.
I'll give him a chance to unmute.
Okay. All right.
You got me now?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, initially, I must be honest and upfront, I thought maybe the portable stage might have made sense because of the size. But after listening to the argument put forth by Sylvester and Vanessa, it makes sense for it to be permanent. That you got the portable stage being set up, you got to make some arrangement. And so while I understand Mr. Jeffers' argument to take up some space, but as Vanessa said, just move one of the benches. I just think that a permanent stage would make more sense than something portable, because none of us are going to be around forever. And those of you on the city council that's there now will not be there 20 years from now. I don't think so, but if you are, that's good. But there will come a time when scheduling is going to be a problem. You know, people going to be off from work, the stage not going to be available, it's going to have a flat tire. I mean, all kind of things can happen, but if it's a permanent establishment, a permanent stage, then that makes more sense. So I would agree with the position that a permanent stage makes sense, having initially thinking that the portable made sense, but now when I think about it, and that's why it's good to have dialogue with the community, it makes more sense for it to be permanent. And so we don't have to go back and forth about scheduling, or be sure the public works can get it there on time. And if we want it on Sunday rather than on Saturday, that's going to be overtime for people to do it. So it seems to me it makes more sense after hearing the arguments and thinking about it, that the permanent is certainly better. And the iron rod fence is permanent. It's something that's going to be there. It's going to look nice. I think anything less than that would be doing a disservice, given that that's like a thoroughfare coming into Lake City from the north. And we want to be sure, as Mr. Green suggested, one meeting I listened to on Zoom, that we want to be sure that it look nice, that's a welcoming project into the community. We don't want people to ride into Lake City and the first thing they see to say, welcome to Lake City, and it look like something that's been there for 50 years. We want to look like it's modern, it's up to date, and it's inconsistent with what the community is asking for. So as Sylvester said, if the community asks for something, then I think it should be the council position or this committee position to honor the wishes of the community, unless there's some reason that you should not. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Have anybody else on there? You have anybody? Okay, and it's done by council.
Mr. Mayor, I did have one more question as well. I did not see in the drawing, the placing for the signage. I know we have signage listed, but I didn't see it in the drawing. And my question is on the signage, is that digital signage that we're able to put messaging on, or is it what type of signage? I didn't see it in the support material. I'm not sure. Ms. Wellsberger, could you speak to that? Oh, I see Mr. Henry coming up. Apologize.
Went back. The signage that we looked at was just a regular sign, so it's out of Gary Park, the year it was established, basically just like the one at Wilson Park. And, the placement, the engineer could draw it in here, but the placement we were looking at is on the corner of Long Street and Marion Street. As you're going both ways, you build the street. Everything is possible.
People coming.
Either way, they can see the signs where they can.
Mr. Henry, was that part of any of the discussions that you had with the community? If I look back to the minutes of the previous meeting, the signage that we discussed was digital in nature for the purpose of being able to communicate, information.
That, I didn't hear about that, not being only, regular fund.
I understand.
That's what we're talking about. I can look into it. If y'all want to, the cost.
Well, I know that it was part of the previous, meeting, and, it's even, mentioned in the minutes as well. We talked about, possibility of a digital sign, to aid in communication with the community, fencing barriers to protect pedestrians from traffic, community involvement in the park, those type, all that even is in the minutes, so I don't know why we didn't follow through, but, it may not be an issue, I don't know.
No, that was one of the things that we mentioned. We even mentioned, hey, two things that we mentioned, not talk about attorneys, you mentioned about the signs in the bathroom, that was kind of must. We can advertise in the community, that part of the community, something going on in the city, we can use that for that purpose, iron, name it. It would be advertising for it, basically for the city. And that was really one.
Thomas, we gonna get to that. All right. Anything else you got? Next meeting will be at noon. With that, we'll take a short break before the, regular meeting. For about 5 to 10 minutes.
Are you looking to, go ahead with any of these, because we need your approval to do that? For any of the improvements here to get going on, or do you want us to come back with the signage and everything at future meetings?
I think the signage we need to look into and the property and the rest of it. But the rest of it that Thomas mentioned, I think, is move forward with what we know is going to be.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I know we had some, citizen, comment about, permanent stage as well. And so, I don't think the council addressed that issue. I don't know, I'm sure the city manager would want, some direction on that as well. I know for me, I would certainly support, permanent staging, be part of the plan. Quite frankly, I'm disappointed that we come back with a plan that didn't address everything that we said at the last CRA. And so I think that, we need to make sure we give the city manager clear direction, so that we don't delay the process.
Mr. Mayor. Yes. With the restroom, there's gonna be a restroom.
Right.
So if he goes ahead and starts doing everything on here other than the actual placement, then when we procure or don't procure the property, then we could place the restroom as needed, but it's gonna be built.
Right, and the hookups and all.
Yeah. Now, one item on this plan though, we might wanna have power added to that corner where the sign goes, if we're gonna do an LED sign there instead of having a long board. But I mean, my opinion, it's time to get started. Let's get it. I mean, they talked about this for way too long.
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to ask our fellow council members as well, I just don't know, would everyone be agreeable to go ahead and moving forward with the restroom on the property as it is to prevent delay? Is there, I know the space is limited, it's a very small space. But I feel like, we've taken a very long time, and for me, I would like to see us take some action. I think we should commit to putting the restroom on the property, putting the permanent stage and the signage. I think that really would give the administration, direction to move forward without going further.
I have no objection to placing the restroom on the existing property that we have. With the understanding that everybody understands that, it is further limiting the space available inside the park. I have no problem with it.
I really don't do it. Right. Mr. Hamburger, does that give you guidance?
Yeah, would you be able to make a motion on the spending though to authorize it?
Yes. Somebody make a motion to, approve the expenditures as outlined.
I will make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we, approve the, park, redesign, and, to include the permanent staging, to include the restroom being, located on the city's current property.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any further discussion? Ms. Hoffman, call the roll, please.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Mr. Green, did you want to include in that the sign as well?
I believe we're doing research on the sign this site. Unless the council has a different, CRA has a different, I think we're gonna research the sign.
If we had a ball on it, we might could do that. I guess everything but the sign.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yeah.
Mr. Hills?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Okay, next meeting will be as known, and we will be adjourned for a few minutes, and then we'll start our regular meeting.
Yeah, we're looking at February 27th for the grand opening for the park and, or the groundbreaking, excuse me, for the, Stella Major Park.
February 27th.
Right. What time? 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Yes. Sure.